Welcome back to Season 2 of Sailing Sitka. We are Jay and Kenna, two young Canadians who stepped outside the box of comfort and decided to act on their ambitions of sailing around the world. We first set sail from Victoria, BC, Canada, and have been adventuring around Mexico ever since. In this season, we'll be sailing on, further south and closer towards our dreams of exploring everywhere the sea touches. So sit back, subscribe, and enjoy the ride. Welcome back to Sailing Sitka, Boatyard Edition. On today's episode, we are busy plugging away at our floating home, getting her ocean ready as soon as possible. So if I were you, I would buckle up for this episode, as it's a bit all over the place and we have multiple projects on the go. Good morning!
Good morning. It's day 11 in the yard. Wow. So yesterday we put in the Tides Marine track, which was a full day event, and I burned the hell out of my leg from being sitting in the bosun's chair all day. What we're doing today is some fiberglass epoxy and kind of woodwork. So Omar is coming in a little bit here to hand us over the new bracket. All right, so Omar, the welder we hired, came through clutch on time, below what we thought it was going to cost, to be honest, and he even made it round. Like, I'll still have to modify the wood a bit because like the other one fit in a groove, and this is going to be way stronger, so I don't care. But like, you just sent me a picture. He's going to bring it tomorrow at 9, but like, look at this. That's the old one in the back and the new one in stainless in the front,
Which is such exciting news.
Yeah, so he's going to come over and give us our new one to replace this old piece of junk that's like cracking everywhere. Like, you can see cracking here, cracking all the way here. Like, it's just garbage. Everything we're doing is just working on those blisters. So we sanded them already there before filming this, actually. So now we're just gonna clean them with acetone. Some of them are getting glass, some of them are needing a little bit more fairing before we put a bit of glass on there. So that's what we're gonna do. Once we're done with that, hopefully we have the bracket for the new gooseneck, and then we'll start shaping that, shaping the end of the boom where the gooseneck goes on to accommodate the new gooseneck, because the new gooseneck's actually longer and bigger, so it won't fit inside that recessed groove that's on the boom. I got to build it out basically with I'll use marine grade plywood and epoxy, and then once it's all good, we'll seal it with more epoxy and then put some bedding compound and screw it in. So that's what's going on for today. Another thing too is once Omar comes, I'm gonna get him to look at our spinnaker track attachment point. We'd never used a track, to be honest. Like on Sitka, we used it as a static point, and the track is all twisted and torn out. So I just want him to make basically a U bracket around the mast. So not a fully around, because obviously we have a track on the other side, on the main side, but just a U bracket with a ring welded on the front, so that it can be screwed in on the sides and the front end of the mast. That way, like, there's even when, because it seems to be wanting to rip out when there's torsion, so like sideways motion. Mm-hmm. So we'll see if he can do that. I'm pretty sure he will. So I'm gonna stop rambling, but let's start working. Alright, so Omar the welder just came in with the new piece, which looks pretty good to me. All the welds seem decent. Big chunky part here. And then I know there's going to be a bit of modification to put it on the boom, but that's fine. Let's see if it fits where it really needs to fit, which is here. Whew.
Oh.
Smooth like butter.
Thank God.
Yeah, so
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
So this moves this way, that allows the boom to move this way. Okay, so that's good.
That's a win.
That's a win. So let's take this out. We'll leave this in here.
Baby.
Okay, and now let's come here. I made him do it like the other bracket. Where's the other bracket? So the other bracket, like here, I'll compare them both there. You see how the other one gets thinner and stuff? I didn't want that. I want it to be super strong. and I don't care about the looks. I just want it to be beefy. So beefy boy. So this should last us for a long time. I'm gonna fill this area here, and then like I wanted this to extend past where it was before. So you see, that's where it's going. But I'm gonna actually like fill this. So like this area here is gonna get filled.
Alright, you guys, it's about 40 degrees right now. She's toasty. I was asked to get all this goop out of the grooves here for the gooseneck so that we can start applying the new one on bare wood. So this is how much goop I'm working with, and it's like rock hard, so should be a good time.
All right, guys, still day 11. Kenna's outside right now prepping the end of the boom for the new gooseneck. I already made 2 marine grade backing pads out of marine grade plywood that we're gonna epoxy on the end to fit the curve. Then there's gonna be a lot of shaping required, so I'm probably gonna use a grinder and a flap disc. So that little portion's done. I'm just waiting for Kenna to be done with prepping the surface, and then we'll fill with thickened epoxy some areas and then glue those 2 pieces of plywood on there. And then tomorrow when it's dry, I'm gonna start shaping, and we might need to put a little bit more filler and so forth, but it's gonna be a multi-day project. Talking about multi-day project, right now I'm about to install our new through hull. So the last through hull you saw me put in was actually just a replacement. I was replacing our old head intake, which was garbage. I did mess up though when I ordered these through hulls. I ordered them with a 1-inch barb fitting on the end, and I should have ordered them with a 3/4 barb fitting. This is something that is 100% my fault. I should have like taken a mental note before we left the boat. I thought I did, but for some reason I thought it was 1 inch. I think where I got confused is the through hull hole is actually 1 inch, but the hose fitting at the end is smaller. And I was under the impression that our new high pressure pump, wash down pump, had 1 inch fitting, but it's either 1/2 inch or 3/4. So the shitty part about that is that plumbing parts for marine stuff are kind of hard to find, and this is why we had to do this ghetto valve fitting at the bottom there that you can see. This is just an extra piece of hose, but this part here. So in Canada or in the States or in a lot of places, to do this project it would be super simple. What we need right now is a step up or a step down, whatever you want to call it, from a 1 inch barb fitting to a 3/4 inch barb fitting to put a hose on. So I wanted just something very simple, plastic like this, you know, very simple, very cheap, like $3 piece. Instead, this is what we got. And this is, so we got to have this that threads into here. Then this threads into a stainless steel 316, and then this threads into here. And then we needed 2 of these. So in Canada, this would have been maybe like $10 total for the 2 like actual fittings. This ended up being like $50. This is me not impressed, guys. This end's not too bad. It's not the end of the world, but it's not ideal. It also introduces, like, the problem with these that I don't like is the fact that if it was a normal step down, it's 1 piece, so you have 2 potential leak points, both ends, versus on here you still have both ends leak point. This could be a leak point, this could be a leak point, and where this goes into a leak point, so you add in 3 potential places that it could leak. Shouldn't, it's threaded and we put some sealant in there, but still not ideal. Which we'll have to do the same to be able to go from 1 inch on this through hull to the 3/4 inch that's gonna go on the end of this pump. So yeah, so it has to go from this size. It's gotta go from this size to this size, so you can see it's 1/4 inch difference. Not the end of the world, but definitely not ideal. Once I get the right parts, it's going to be fine. So anyways, back to what I was saying. We need to mount this. First, we need to actually find the location, which I think I'm going to keep it simple and put it in this locker, which is in the head. And we already have the out through hull here. So this is where the head, where we pump the shit out when it goes right overboard, or if it goes to the tank, which is on the other side, the black water tank. And this there is the through hull for a sink. So it's an old one, but this one still works, as you can tell. I can still close it. It is getting stiff, but after seeing the head one, which I thought was going to be toast, it's like, well, I was actually like, it could have probably been just greased and maintained. Like the metal was not pit or anything. So whatever metal they used on Sitka back in the day for these screw holes were actually good. So anyways, I got to mount this guy, but as you can tell, these screw holes have backing plates, and that's how you want to install them. And composite material is the best thing for backing plates. Back in the day, they used to use wood, and that's what it was for all the through holes on here. And they're still in good shape, but now we have composite material, so it can't rot if moisture was to get in there. So the last thing you want is this to rot and then get compressed, and then water could come in. So I got a piece of, I think it's either G10 or Starboard, doesn't really matter, composite plastic. So now, here, let me put this down there because I'm using one hand. All right, so basically this goes against the hull, and then this will get mounted on here. So I just need to find the exact location where I want this pad does this through hull on, and then I'm gonna need to actually sand the paint, which the paint doesn't, like, you can see like all the grazing of the paint, so it shouldn't be too hard to sand. And then where I mount the through hull, I'm basically gonna epoxy this plate to it, and then we'll wait a day, and then the next day we'll come and drill our holes through here and through the hull, and then we'll be able to mount the through hull. I drew a black square here, so I'm gonna sand this down, and then so once that's there, we're gonna epoxy that there. And then the valve, these valves stick quite up, so this is gonna go here. So we're gonna have the valve there, and then I gotta think about, I wish I had another hand to hold you guys, but anyways, this valve's gonna be there, but then I still have this contraption here that makes it go from 1 inch to 3/4. So my thought is that this by the way won't be permanent. At one point we'll have something a little more ideal than this, where it's just one piece together, and basically it doesn't create this whole issue where, because this is a long part where the hose can't bend, so in tight areas it's not ideal. So basically I can't have this right at the end, so I'm probably gonna have the hose coming out and going in here, and then I'll be able to like kind of like attach this with some zip ties to relieve a bit of pressure, because this is there's a bit of weight to this. So I'll be able to zip tie it to this pipe here, which is solid, so that there's not too much pressure on these fittings. So that's my idea. The one thing that's not as worrisome for me, because this is going to be hidden kind of thing, right? Because we got a bunch of stuff in here, and then this door is always closed normally. So the thing is that when we use this pump, it's only when we're coming off at anchor or catching a fish. So this through hull will be 99% of the time closed, and when we open it, we're going to close it right after. So it's going to be easy to monitor if we create a leak or something. Now the difference is, the one I replaced in the head, this is on all the time because we use the head. We're not going to go and open the through hull every time we use the head. So this is why, even though it's not beautiful, I wanted to have this valve here where it's easy to see. I didn't want it in this locker where nobody would see it if it starts leaking, versus here it leaks, we'll know right away, because every time we come in the head, I'll be able to glance at it. So that's why I did this. And this is like really good quality marine hose, so that's good. The problem is I don't have any more 3/4 inch marine hose. I only bought 1 inch, so I'm gonna see if I can scavenge a little part, like maybe 2-3 feet of it from somebody here in the yard, or go set a hardware store and get, like, probably they won't have marine hose, but get non-marine hose until we're like in La Paz. So but anyways, in the meantime, let's get crack-a-lacking. All right, so this is what it looks like now. I'm gonna clean it with some acetone and then mix some epoxy mixed with some 403, which I should have here, which is just glue basically. So it's a powder that you mix with epoxy and it turns into, epoxy is already a glue and adhesive, but with 403 it turns it into like more of a structural adhesive. I used a glue gun to tack it in place. So there it is. So 403 mixed with some epoxy, and then just the corner I left the edges like just a tiny little thing just to put hot glue so we could tack it in place. But yeah, for now we can't do anything until tomorrow for this. We gotta let it fully cure. It's gonna be probably touch dry in like an hour, but we won't we'll wait for a full cure. So tomorrow morning I'm gonna drill the hole for the through hole, and then we'll be able to inspect. So I'll show you guys tomorrow morning what it looks like once we drill the hole through this. And now we're gonna break for lunch. Kenna's pretty much done outside on the, she's done actually on the getting all the old sealant from where the gooseneck was on the boom. So after lunch, what I'm gonna do is I've cut 2 pieces of plywood, marine grade plywood, to where the brackets, the new brackets, a bit thicker. And then we're gonna put unthickened epoxy everywhere. And then we're gonna put thickened epoxy and glue those in.
What are you doing there, Jay?
Filling my drinking water. These are actually pretty cool. Like, we've been in Mexico a lot, but I haven't seen these before. They're awesome because they're like self-serve. So they give you exactly like, I put a peso right now. So it's gonna give me, that's 1 peso's worth of water. This is 5 pesos worth of water. Mi agua.
You're dancing to the beeping?
Yeah.
Jumping on your face from the thing.
We were just eating an ice cream sandwich.
2 hours after?
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
So we just had lunch and now we're back at this project for the gooseneck. I scraped off all of that goop. It took me probably an hour and a half. We lathered it on super duper thick because we thought that was the end all be all. The last time we got the gooseneck repaired. That was wrong. So I got that all scraped off. And then we just sanded everything down to bare wood here. I'll give you guys a little peek. So it's all prepped. And I am washing everything down with acetone. So just getting this prepped here, and then there's Jason with the epoxy.
Yeah, so right now just the unthickened stuff. And we're just gonna give a nice coat everywhere.
I was telling them that there was so much goop because that's what we thought it was the last time we were gonna do this.
Yeah.
Last time.
Ended up lasting like
1 sail.
Yeah.
I love the smell of that.
Kenna's weird. She likes the smell of everything that'll kill you and give you cancer. Like gasoline, acetone.
Acetone's a good one. That's high up on the list.
Spinnaker track off because look at this, it's been torqued out and we only use it at a static point anyways. We don't use the track at all, so I'm gonna get the welder that just did our gooseneck to do basically a 3-inch bracket that goes all the way around, well I guess 3/4 of the way around, so it mounts on the side and the front with the ring welded on it. Right at this height is where we're gonna put it. So yeah, we don't need this thing. So we'll take this out.
Friggin' did it, you guys. The track is off. Second external track off.
Now I'm calling the welder to let him know.
Now Jay's calling the welder.
How are you? Good. I got the other track off there, so if you're available this afternoon and you want to swing by to take the measurements and stuff, you can.
This episode had a lot going on, and sometimes that's how our days end up being. There's a lot of touch and go during projects, which allows us to get started on new ones while waiting for measurements, epoxy to cure, or getting the proper tools and equipment. We're also paying each day to work on our boat in this yard, so we can't simply just stop working when one project is on hold. Don't get me wrong, it can be frustrating having so much on the go, but that's boat work. You're always fixing something, even when you don't think you are. Join us next week as we resolve all of this chaos, and I'm happy to say that we're finally starting to check off numerous boxes on our list, which means we're a couple projects closer to splashing once and for all. You guys, Jay just did the most magical thing in the world.
Yeah, so I just ordered Starlink, so Kenna will be able to edit and send you guys episodes from the recesses of the Earth's crust.
Wow. Wow. What a luxury.
Yeah.
This was not planned. This is a total treat.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful. Thank you. I love you. Look at it. Show them. Do you have the confirmation still?
Yeah, well, I'm setting a password, so the confirmation's gone. But yeah, we're getting it. You can trust us.
Thank you for watching this week's episode of Sailing Sitka. Stick around for more to come. If you enjoyed, please spread the love and let us know. Special thank you to our Patreon members for making these videos possible, as well as helping our dreams come true. See you all next week.